Hey friends, welcome to the channel. If you want to know what I've been up to in about 93 hours learning Turkish so far, what the biggest challenges have been, keep watching. Los geht's! My name is Dustin, I'm an IT project manager from Germany. On this channel we create content that helps us to be productive, to learn new things, especially languages, and to live a happier and more fulfilling life. Today I want to give you again a quick update about my Turkish learning, since I've started to learn this beautiful language actively about 2 months ago. We will start with what I've done in detail, how much time I've spent in total, my current skill level, and then last but not least we'll have a look at what the next steps are, taking into account improvements and learnings. Let's dive into today's wait, first a nice sip of coffee, and this time in a real Turkish mug. Los geht's! Since I've started, I've made some further progress with my vocab learning using an app called Drops, and I'm now slightly above 900 words. In between, I'm also repeating the learned words, which makes me progressing a bit slower, but I'm not in a hurry, only using that app for 5 minutes each day. Once I get the 1000 words, probably I'll just keep using the app further and learn some more words. With the Turkish Uncovered course by Olly, I'm halfway through and have progressed slower than expected. I'm watching the video course and also doing the vocab exercises, but skipping the speaking part since I'll tackle that area later. So far, I like the course, but to be honest, I have a hard time to understand the different chapters of the story. First, I always try to get a good grasp of it, listening to it once while also reading it. Then I read the English translation, and next I import the whole thing to LingQ, so audio as well as the text, and make a nice thumbnail using AI. Then I got it there, where I can read it over and over and also see the words I don't know. What I also do is to listen to it on the side while I'm doing other stuff. This way I'm repeating the same content over and over again, which is a bit repetitive and can get boring, but I'm always discovering new stuff. I have to admit though that I'm progressing very slow and that this is really the most difficult language I've learned so far. I can only imagine how hard it must be to learn one of the most difficult languages, like for example Arabic. There will be also a complete test video of the Turkish Uncovered course and in general the Uncovered courses by Olly once I've completed them, or completed this course in specific. What I'm also doing to get the basics hammered into my brain and in order to test a different app for this channel is trying out LingoDeer. By now I'm about 17% through and I'm committed to do the full Turkish course, which isn't very extensive. You can tell that the app is focusing more on Asiatic languages, but still the content that you got there is not bad. It contains the very basics to start with and thus provides some more repetition that I can definitely need. You can also find explanations of specific parts of the language for each lesson, which is quite useful to get a grasp of the language. For that app, a test video will follow. And then there's one new thing on the list, which is an Anki deck that I have found, which has the 5000 most used Turkish words in it, including audio, the IPA and much more. You can get it completely for free and I'll leave the link in the description of this video. You might ask yourself what's wrong with myself, that I learn now dry vocab using flashcards? I've noticed that when reading the Turkish Uncovered stories at LingQ, I have a hard time to grasp certain words and that I could need some spaced repetition for the most used words. That's when I stumbled upon this Anki deck. It gave it a try and it takes me forever to learn words, but on the other hand, I really feel that I need to put in some effort and the progress motivates me a lot. This is a long-term goal, since I really want to get Turkish to a solid level. Normally, I try to learn 10 new words per day, but in between I also put in a stop when I notice that I'm overwhelmed and just can't keep up with that. Then I'm just reviewing the words that I encountered already. And I'm doing also that each day, until I did all my repetition. I'm always tracking my time spent with languages and other stuff using a tool called Clockify. I said I really started learning Turkish 2 months ago, but before I already did about 5 minutes each day, learning vocabulary with drops to get used to the language and especially also the pronunciation, which amounts to about 12 hours last year and then again 13 hours this year, so in total 25 hours with drops on the side. Then in July this year, I've started to learn for about an hour each day, at least on weekdays, which adds up to 23 hours. In August, around 29 hours, and September, which is still ongoing, 17 hours so far. All in all, adding up all the hours of last year and this year, we get a total of 93 hours, consisting of all the activities I mentioned earlier. This is not all active study time, but also lots of passive listening to get the language wash over my brain and to slowly start to assimilate it. We are still just at the beginning here. I still have a very hard time to understand Turkish at all. Of course, the basics I get now, like how are you, what's your name, etc. But following the story from Turkish Uncovered is a real challenge. I notice improvements, but it's happening super slow. All the pre and suffixes and also the vowel harmony is confusing me tremendously. I've never seen such a complexity, even though linguistically speaking, I think it's beautiful. Let's say you want to say in my books, for example, then it's kitaplarımda. That means kitap is book, lar is plural, is my, and da is in. All that meaning in just one word. So right now I just try to notice the words and then to deduct the meaning from it. Also the sentences are basically built the opposite way than you would in English. Like for example, I am going to school would be okula gidiyorum. There's basically okul is school, a is to, gid is go, and yorum is I. It has though some similarities with German, I have to admit, in that regards. By the way, the same applies also to the pronunciation with the vocals, like for example the ü, which are also similar in German and Turkish, among a few other things. And I could go on forever. I found a pretty good article about the basics and some interesting facts about the grammar in the Glossika blog if you're interested. I also put the link into the description of the video. Other than that, I'm learning and progressing, but up till now I'm pretty much useless in Turkish. We'll get there. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and I'm completely convinced that if I just put in the time needed, it'll fall all in place. For speaking and writing, I haven't done anything so far except some stuff within LingoDeer, which I wouldn't consider really writing. I will proceed working on my already started activities to reach the goals I have set myself and try to finish the 1000 words with drops pretty soon, as well as getting the Turkish Uncovered course finished. Then I also put some more effort into LingoDeer to get that course finished as well. Each day I continue to do my Anki flashcards and occasionally add a few new words as long as it doesn't overwhelm me. Then the next step is to also do the language transfer course for Turkish to get an even better understanding for the language and how it all fits together. It always makes sense to do that very much at the beginning of your journey because you will greatly profit from that then. And then I can't wait to get going with the bidirectional translation method course by Luca Lampariello and the Assimil Turkish book. But for now I got enough other things to get done first. Remember, stop starting, start finishing. Otherwise it'll be a complete mess in the end. So still lots to come. Stay tuned. And if you haven't seen the first video of this series about me learning Turkish, have also a look here. Thank you so much for watching and see you the next time.